Hey guys, welcome back to the tribe.
Welcome back, everyone.
So today we actually have a personal topic that we're going to discuss today that I believe everybody goes through.
Yes, arguments and reconciliation.
But before we jump in, our affirmation of the day is...
Our affirmation of the day is, I get things done, I do not delay. I get things done, I do not delay.
I get things done, I do not delay.
Yes, and we say this throughout the day. We reprogram the subconscious mind. So we actually had a big blow up, like a big argument, and just for transparency, because everything is not all sunshine and rainbows in relationships, as we know. But within these arguments, you get to see yourself. If you don't see yourself immediately, obviously the rage blinds you and you really can't see it until you reflect. But 2 days ago, we did have a really big blow up to the point where we're like, yo, it's over. Like energy that most people in most relationships have gone through. And within the argument and within your blind rage, it's hard for you to see your partner as the love and the companionship and the romance. It's hard to see that because you're in such a blind rage. I catch myself leaning on my triggers, leaning on my past traumas that I went through maybe as a child, things that I can't really pinpoint sometimes, but it's there. Thinking that there's an attack coming or always being ready to defend myself when it comes to specific energies or whatever. If she's just saying something, sometimes I just take it the wrong way and I just go off. But when you sit back and you reflect and you look at yourself and you're like, wow, like I kind of like went up the deep end and I now have time without that energy being in my field. I have time to really reflect on myself to see, well, like you was wild. You know what I mean? It's not easy to go through these things and then to reflect on it. So that's the hardest thing to do. Most people just go through it like, fuck it, I'm just going to let it go. But when you reflect and you look back at what you've been through with your partner and all the beautiful things that you've gone through, it's really not worth throwing any of it away, especially for a moment, like literally just a moment.
Feelings are so temporary. And we can get so caught up in the emotion and caught up in the feeling that we forget what it was that we were arguing about in the first place. At this point, it's just trying to prove a point.
Exactly.
And trying to prove the point, sometimes it can really bring out a certain part of you, but not really get to the meat of what's going on. We use masks. And I think with the masks, especially with not necessarily nipping it in the butt, really identifying it for what it is, identifying the problem, we allow it to drag on and we allow it to get to a place where it doesn't have to be.
You don't want to damage the relationship permanently over temporary feelings. Like she said, you kind of just forget what you were even talking about, what you were even arguing about. Now it just becomes an energy battle and who can win. Who can say the worst thing to make the other person feel bad? And it's like, damn, like this is what we've come to. But in all reality, everything is an energy exchange. And when you're with someone and you're exchanging energy so much, things can get volatile. You're not, like I told her, like, you're not going to avoid arguments, but what you can do is make sure that you're not going to these points of no return in the argument because we're humans. We experience each other. There are things that we don't like about each other. And sometimes we're going to argue, but how far are you going to go? You don't want to go so far that you can't get it back.
Right. Yeah. And, just really understanding where the person is coming from. I mean, I believe like that's really just the strongest kind of takeaway. It's just really taking yourself and putting yourself in the other person's shoes. It's hard at the moment because you're in that and it could be very difficult due to the fact that you're trying to get off your energy. You're trying to express yourself. You're trying to communicate the best way you can, but you're using all these other tools and it's not necessarily getting to the point of you really expressing and explaining yourself. I felt like at the moment I wasn't being heard, and because I wasn't being heard, I was frustrated, and through my frustrations, I'm not the best person, especially because I'm a perfectionist and I want things to be a certain way. And through that frustration, I didn't realize that I was putting even more pressure and not really looking at it from a bird's eye view and seeing the situation being super small and so minuscule where it really didn't have to get to that level. Just having check-ins. Like, I feel like before it gets to the point of frustration and just blowing up, having check-ins with each other. Hey, is everything okay? Okay, are you good? Do you need any help? Really healthy, having healthy communication. Then that way you know what the person is telling you. But you're not coming up with these different scenarios or coming up with these illusions of things that could happen. You know, we manifest what we want, and oftentimes we're not really aware of our unconscious minds and conscious minds merging into what we would say reality. So really having that time to really dial it back and just remember why and what's the whole purpose. Segway. Word of the day is Esurient.
Esurient.
Esurient means greedy, hungry, and willing to do anything.
Wow. The Esurient banker would not allow me to take my money out because they had no money.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Greedy.
Getting back into our topic, it's really important, and we're learning.
Yeah. Everybody's learning.
Yeah. We've been together for going on 3 years. Yeah. So certain things we probably didn't see before we're now seeing. Mm-hmm. And now it's about how do you navigate, how do you come together, how do you come to a place of understanding and taking time to really get to know your partner. Most times we call people, we insert, situations, and we make it bigger than what it is. And I'm learning to dial it back. I'm learning to not necessarily always get other people involved, but just focus on the problem at hand and try to get through it the best way that I can without necessarily always looking for validation. I think validation can be harmful because when you look for answers from others, especially if they don't know or they have the same dynamic, it could be really hard to get the best response and advice due to the fact that you're going based off of what you either observed or what you felt. Or so for me, I realized, especially in some of my faults, and also to take an accountability, right? Like, the older you become, the more you're aware, you're conscious about what you do, you know what you do. And for me, having that validation, sometimes I realize that it's just best to keep it between each other.
I think we're always looking for some type of validation, and that's really the problem. You're always going to find...
looking to be right.
You're going to find the validation that you're looking for, and that's really the problem. So if you're looking for validation to break up with a person, you're going to find it from somebody's going to give you that energy. So in all reality, it's really an internal thing. It's never really an external thing. And to touch on what you said in the, before the break, our thoughts are creating reality. So the thoughts that you keep from your partner, the thoughts that you say to yourself, whatever you don't like, and you let it fester and you don't talk about it, that's manifesting a blow up. That's you're literally holding that reality in, and then that reality is trying to find its way out in some way, but you're holding it in so tightly, it turns into a blow up, turns into an argument. And we have to just speak on what we feel. And that's one of my biggest problems is like she said, I'm a perfectionist myself. So I want things to happen a certain way down to the T. So if it doesn't, I get frustrated. I'm like, but it's like, bro, just like speak up, bro. Say you feel this way. Say you want this to be this way. It doesn't necessarily have to be that way, but say that this is what I want. And when you speak up on what you want, you'll eventually realize that you've released an energy. You've released something out of yourself that, could have been a blow up, but now it's just water under the bridge.
Right. And it's also too, I like how you touched on that. It's also too, just being able to, again, let each other know, okay, this is too much for me. If you are a person that maybe your strengths are here or your weaknesses are here, okay, cool, I can help you in this, or I can take this on. So really delegating tasks and delegating different roles, so then that way it doesn't feel like there's too much pressure on either one of us.
Yeah, of course. That's a beautiful way to put it. And for you out there listening, if you're really serious about your partner, like she said, your strengths might be somebody else's weaknesses and vice versa. So just take it on. Like, hey, look, you do something better than me.
Right.
Let's like, you know what I mean? I do something better than you. Let's put that together. Not like, oh, you don't do that right.
Right.
You know, it's like, yeah, I don't do this right, but I do this right. And you do this right, but you do this wrong. Let's not highlight what we do wrong. Highlight what we do right and come together as one. Right. And then we'll have a much better relationship.
Right. And it's not a competition.
Not at all.
You look at your partner and this is the person that you choose to be with. This is your tribe. You got to always take the time and take the moments to just do some self-reflection and just realize, okay, this is where I could take accountability. This is where, I messed up. This is what I've done wrong. This is how I can get better. This is what I can work on. This is what I learned from this situation.
Put your pride to the side.
Yeah, definitely put your pride to the side. Sometimes our ego really gets the best of us.
Strong. Ego's strong.
Yeah.
You gotta be like.
And also, too, astrology signs. So you're a Virgo, I'm a Cancer. So sometimes it could be like a clashing head. But it's about how do you get past it? How do you move on? And then look at the beauty of what you have and what you're striving for. And I believe when you focus on that, that's what's going to allow you to get better, get wiser, and just get stronger as a unit.
Right. Beautiful quote.
So our phrases of the day the Spanish phrase is, ¿qué haces?
¿Qué haces?
¿Qué haces? It means, what do you do?
¿Qué haces? What do you do?
Mm-hmm. And then our Portuguese phrase is, O que você faz?
O que você faz?
O que você faz? Which also means, what do you do?
What do you do? What do I do?
So yeah, guys, just to end it all off, some takeaways that we learned. Therapy.
Yeah, therapy.
We're going to actually start implementing and going to therapy, especially as a couple. So then that way we can find healthy ways to really communicate and really get our points across.
Yeah. Praying together, meditating together.
Meditating.
Yeah.
Also involving ourselves around other healthy couples.
Right.
So I have a couple of friends, family members that are in really healthy relationships. So really involving ourselves around that energy. Yeah. So then that way we can get inspired. But also too, we know how to navigate through our own relationship. Yeah. Other takeaway I would say is not to get other people involved. Sometimes when you say things and you say it in the heat of the moment, you lose sight of what you said. Yeah. So less is more. Silence is golden. And, before you make the phone call, before you call anybody or get anybody involved, really think about the whole situation that happened. Have a conversation first and really assess and say, okay, is this worth it to me? Is this something that I'm still going to fight for? Is this something that I still really want?
But if you're really in danger, like legitimately, you should call someone. Yeah. I would say for sure she's 100% right. If you feel like, all right, we're just arguing, but if you're in danger, I would recommend you call someone and get some help.
Definitely. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Any takeaways?
Takeaways. Yeah. Reflect. Reflect on yourself. I think every time me and her get into something, I learn more about myself. Like, I learn about her, but that's easy because I'm observing her. But it's harder to observe yourself and realize that, hey, I'm doing something inwardly that's being projected towards this person, and I need to check it. Like, seriously, that inward work is the best work. Be a better self for your partner. Be a better self for the world. Like, I am not perfect. None of us are. And to be vulnerable, even on camera, is a huge thing for me and her because we keep our stuff private. But I think sometimes people need to hear this. And yeah, my takeaway, like I said, inward work, be better, be a better person for the people around you.
So that's our show for today. That's our topic for today. I want to thank each and every one of you. We've been seeing so many views, so many different comments, and we really, really appreciate it. We are super happy to be here. I really appreciate any comments and suggestions down below. If you have any advice, or if you just, want to just talk about it. We also just created a community page where we'll be able to actually interact with you all and be able to say our testimony, but also answer other people's testimonies. And on top of that, to see your stories.
Right. And if you like what we're doing and you love our energy and perspective, you can also donate to us as well.
Yes. So thank you guys so much. And we look forward to seeing you in the next one. Stay tuned.